every time it's been a while since we like do an installment in a franchise and we see a new intro or an old intro, but it feels new again, it always hits so hard, man. Welcome back, everybody, to Kinda Funny's John Wick in Review. That's right, we're ranking, reviewing, and recapping every single John Wick and John Wick spin-off movie. Of course, I'm your host, Tim Geddes. I'm joined today by Andy Cortez.
Hello.
Joey Noel.
I have served. I will be of service.
Yes. And Nick Scarpino.
The Baba Yaga.
God.
That's what they call me here.
I love it.
We do.
Every time Baba Yaga is said, I'm just like, and even when it's like not in John Wick, when I just hear it out, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Wait, how often are you hearing that word out?
You know, a surprising amount. Like Baba Yaga, I never heard it in my life till John Wick.
And now it's everywhere.
And now it's like, I would say once every like 3 months. Yeah, there's that too. There's that, of course. This is In Review, where each and every week we get together to rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. If that sounds like a great time, it is. You can get it as a podcast, as a video, live, or at your leisure. Just watch later on YouTube. We are wrapping up, or doing John Wick today, the Ballerina from the world of John Wick. Next week, we are starting Superman in Review with the original Richard Donner movie. I've never seen it. Nick, I'm sure you've seen it.
I've seen it many, many times throughout the years.
And
very beloved.
Never seen it. Never seen any of the Reeves ones.
So what Superman movies have you seen? Besides Man of Steel and stuff, have you seen Returns?
No.
Okay.
Is that the one with the other guy?
Brandon Routh.
Never saw that one.
That's the only one that I've seen at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Superman, kind of boring dude.
He's
Hey.
born, dude.
Yeah.
Hey.
Maybe
Hey.
we'll learn,
Finally,
Andy.
someone's saying it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not
maybe we'll learn.
Wolverine.
Yeah,
Oh, he's not Wolverine.
No.
Okay.
not Baby Joey.
Hate it.
I'm sorry, Joey. You know what I mean?
Why can't I can't get the cute thing. I have to get the weird, slimy green thing.
Have
Okay.
you heard about Baby Joey?
No, I have no idea what's happening.
Oh, you don't know about
Kevin,
Baby
can you
Joey?
bring up Baby Joey really quick? Like, it's important.
This is all the new rage over in
it
the DC universe.
The
Yeah.
worst part
This
is
is
that
their
Ben has
Grogu.
now associated it with me.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Greg bought
It's a
all the
Superman
Superman
thing.
toys.
Oh, right.
And there's only like 8 of them, 8 characters, and one of them is this fucking Baby Joey.
The worst.
So, yeah, Greg got it, gave it to
Nobody's
Ben.
gonna buy
And said
this.
it's Baby Joey, and then Ben goes, oh, like Joey, like you're Joey, and it's like, oh god,
No,
that's a
but yes. Gross.
Is he
No,
touching
but
his
yes.
foot?
Oh
Ew,
man.
look at his little feet. Why are they different colors?
Oh, man.
Oh,
Everything
we're gonna
about
learn.
this thing is
We're
wrong.
gonna learn about Baby Joey in just a
Dirt.
few weeks.
I
Yeah.
hate this.
Good Lord. Remember, we're an 11-person business all about live talk shows, so your support with the Kinda Funny membership means a lot to us. We already did an episode of Games Daily where we unboxed our Nintendo Switch 2s, and later today we're about to do a live reaction to the PlayStation State of Play, followed by our Gamescast breakdown of that, and then tonight around 7:45 we're kicking off our all-night long Switch 2 stream. Greg and I are going to be live at the Nintendo store in San Francisco, hanging out with everybody, then come back here and playing Mario Kart all night long. It's going to be a freaking blast. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Xreal. We'll tell you all about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be In Review.
Different intro.
It is. I didn't have time to prep the run of show today because I had to unbox my Switch and I was really excited. So yeah, I did just read the Games Daily run of show and I just went right through
You know what,
it.
Tim? Today we're going to give you a pass.
It
on
is.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you for
You
the
deserve
pass.
a
A lot
pass.
happening this
I
morning.
appreciate that. Today we are talking about The Ballerina from the world of John Wick, directed by,
I'm Len Wiseman,
Len Wiseman, who is
the Underworld guy.
the Underworld guy.
And also
director.
still husband of Kate Beckinsale, or no?
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, they were married when they did Underworld, but I'm not sure.
They divorced in 2019.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah. How wild is it that Wikipedia is just like, hey, here's all the work you did. Also, this bitch got divorced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, all your shit's
Oh, he's
just,
from
like, right there.
Fremont.
He's what?
He's from Fremont.
Oh, shit. That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah, he directed Underworld, Underworld Evolution, and then was involved in Underworld Rise of the Lycans and Underworld Awakening.
He also did
Blood
Live Free or
Wars.
Die Hard and
He
the
did?
Total Recall remake, which was not that bad.
Oh,
Both
Live
of those, not that
Free-
bad.
Live Free or Die Hard was like
Live
the
Free or Die
good
Hard
one.
cooks.
Yeah.
It cooks.
Before we saw the movie and there was, trepidation in the office, and Roger said, man, I really hope this is good. And then he saw, the director did the Underworld movies. Or Kevin said, the director did the Underworld movies. And Roger goes, that sucks. And Kevin goes, no, some of them are pretty good. And then Roger replied with, they're all awesome? And Kevin was like, no, hold on.
Yeah.
I didn't say that this was like an awesome franchise front to back. I'm saying some of them are good.
Some of them are good.
Some of them are okay.
It was yeah.
They're not all terrible.
The music was done by Tyler Bates, who has done a lot of the Deadpool movies, the John Wick movies. He kicks ass. He makes a lot of good stuff, including this movie. I love the score in this one. And we had a release date of June 6th, 2025. Gia's birthday. Happy birthday,
Happy
Gia.
birthday.
A runtime of 2 hours and 5 minutes. This one had a $80 to $90 million budget. Who should I start with? Who wants to talk about The Ballerina?
Me.
Andy Cortez, what do you think about The Ballerina?
It's something you gotta do before you watch this movie is remember you're watching a John Wick movie. Because, you know, midway into John Wick 1 is when you start to fully understand the tone and what they're going for. And when you're watching this movie, obviously I love these movies so much, but I kind of forgot what movie I was watching. And so when you just have to understand humans will never act like humans in this. This is a fantasy movie. These are characters that would never, ever exist in real life and never speak this way to people.
Sorry, real quick, I forgot to say, spoiler-free
Spoiler-free.
thoughts
Spoiler-free.
right now until we make it very clear we're going into spoilers. So
Spoiler-free. Spoiler-free. So in the first several minutes of this movie, I'm like, this is weird. I'm not really vibing with this. And then it kind of kept on going, and I was like, oh, man, I think this is where the love of John Wick ends. And then it just bullet train full speed ahead.
Yep.
And it's a great freaking time. Awesome movie. Love the action. Love the set pieces. It has, I think, some set pieces that are better than ones from the OG John Wicks. Like I love this movie. Will I rank it higher than the other four? Probably not. But these are all awesome movies. And this may be the first franchise where the fifth one is a movie that I could say absolutely go see it. It's a great time in theaters.
Not just the fifth one, a spin-off.
A spin-off fifth entry into a franchise. Of all movies that I love, I think this movie kicks a lot of ass. A little bit too loud in the Dolby, though. Why are the punches louder than the bullets? The shots?
The shotgun shells.
Oh.
The shotgun shells moved my feet. Oh, whoa.
Great time, though. Had a blast. I highly recommend this. I want to go watch it again because Blessing was like, I got to go see it. He was like, I need just like dudes to go see it with, though. I was like,
I'm down to see it
dude,
again.
I want to go see this again. This movie rocks.
Joey Noel.
I liked it. There's been a discussion around The Office, specifically with me and Roger, and everybody's kind of been tangential to it, that like I don't love Ana de Armas. She doesn't really. I think a lot of movies that I've seen her in, I don't think she's been great. So I was a little bit hesitant going into this movie. That being said, Andy's point about nobody in these movies are ever going to talk like a normal human being means that she fit in perfectly, in my opinion. But the really more important thing is like, at the end of the day, you're going to see a John Wick spinoff movie. You don't really care if the acting is good. You're there for the action, and she like kicks ass. She's really fun to watch. I feel like they did. What are you doing? Oh, I feel like they did a good job of giving her her own style. I think the thing that I had to remind myself of in the movie is like John Wick has this like legend and lore about him, and obviously you see that play out in the movies and stuff like that. And it's like can he be stopped? He is unstoppable. And that's not who Ana de Armas's character is. And I feel like that was the thing that I had to remind myself of. Like, she's not this like menacing figure with this lore and like larger than life kind of thing. So that tonally is like a little bit different. And I feel like that's kind of where I was in my head a little bit. And because the other thing that I really appreciate about John Wick 2 is all of, like how accurate all of his like tactical gun movements and all that stuff is. This one's a little bit messier on that, but that makes sense for her story. She's not supposed to be this like really dialed in assassin and stuff like that. So I think it's like a really good tangent, I guess, for the John Wick franchise. There's a lot more interaction of characters than I expected, and I had a good time. I think I'm gonna end up seeing this with my dad for Father's Day. I think that's the rewatch move.
The barometer for me is here's a great question from OMGLX in the YouTube chat, who asks, here's a question, Andy. If your dad asks to watch it with you next time you visit home, how enthusiastic will you say yes? I'm going to say it's time to watch the new John Wick movie.
Yeah.
Because
You're going to be leading the discussion.
Yeah. Like I am leading it.
You're pushing that agenda.
I am sending the Blu-ray from Amazon to his house. You know what I mean? It's a great time.
Nicholas.
I think this is an excellent addition to the John Wick universe. And you use the word spinoff, which obviously this is a spinoff. But that was going to be my biggest worry going in, of being like, okay, are we going so far? We're spinning this off. We have to make it our own. We have to sever ties from all the things that made the John Wick universe outrageously stupid and fun. And no, this feels like, I mean, these movies are video games, right? They're just really, 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 really dialed in shooters. And this feels like really, really, really good DLC that they made that you could make an entire game from. We walked out of this, and the first thing we said to each other was like, this is Metal Gear. And that's what it feels like. It feels like this universe is not spinning off. It feels like it's expanding. And I think there's other people involved in this, other characters that they have popped up that you're like, absolutely now, because they did this such good justice, I would absolutely watch an entire movie of just this character, because they've done such a great job, albeit I have no idea how, building this world to a place where it all makes sense. It makes sense that people, that all this stuff can just exist, and that you're just watching a really, really, really good action movie. And I'm with Andy too, where like the beginning of the movie I started watching, I was like, I don't know if I'm into this. But then the second we start getting into the choreography and the creativity of it, and I had to remind myself, oh, you're watching a John Wick movie. These movies are not steeped with plot. They don't get bogged down by plot points, Andy.
Don't need it.
That's not what these are about. These movies are just quintessential action movies done to such a fun degree that I slept like a baby after I watched this film.
It does
because
something out of
it's
you.
exhausting,
Yeah.
but it's exhilarating. And there are moments in this film we'll get into in the plot that are very, very surprising and super creative, and I just did not see it coming. I was like, that is a unique, cool thing that you showed me. There's two specific sequences in this that we'll get into that I was like, would never have thought someone could come up with that. And the second someone interacts with the thing, you go, we're here for the ride, man. And it is a roller coaster, and it is absolutely worth seeing.
Yes. I just got a text from my friend that said, LOL, did you know you were a meme? I typed in twerk and you were one of the options. What type of life do I live?
Were you dressed as a turkey?
I was dressed as a turkey, yes. Or Greg was dressed as a turkey. I was just with him. Anyways, I loved this. I really am happy that it is as good as it is because, yeah, everything y'all already kind of said, it being a spinoff, it's just being another John Wick even, like take spinoff out of it. Yeah. Like
it's a John Wick movie.
I loved 4 I loved all of them, but like I loved 4 so much, and it really felt like they left it all on the field there. Like, what are we possibly going to do to entertain me? And goddamn, I was entertained. I'm with Andy. The very beginning, like the first like 5 minutes, that was definitely like this is what I expected this movie to be in a bad way. Of like, oh, not here for this. I get they had to do it, but it was pretty bad and cheesy and just not John Wick in the bad type of cheese. You know what I mean?
It was me going, this is why I didn't watch the TV show. This is why I had no interest in that. You know?
Yeah. So that immediately though picks up and just like they slap me in the face and just keep running. And I do, as opposed to Joey, I love Ana de Armas, and I think she kills it in this. I will say, character wise, I kind of wish she was a bit more like Paloma in James Bond.
No Time to Die.
Yeah, No Time to Die. Thank you very much. That's me. I just character wise, I prefer her to be a little bit more like fun than she is in this, but I also get it. It's a different character.
Yeah, it's a different world, you know.
But she is really awesome, and the way that they tie all this into the John Wick universe, I think is like 1,000 times more than I would have expected, and in terms of quantity and quality. And on top of that, I would love to see as many movie spinoffs as they want to make for this. Like, I'm here for it. I believe in them. You start to question, like, okay, but how many ways can you kill somebody?
Right.
They keep coming up with new ways.
Figured it out.
And what I really love about this is I feel like these movies that we've now seen so many of, these like just intense, pure action movies, it starts to be like, all right, which one was this? We're never going to forget which one this was. Like, there's so many like areas and set pieces and ideas. Like, this is like not spoilers at all. It's just pretty much the entire movie. It's like, this is the snow one. Like, there's a lot of
this is the sliding one.
This is not gonna be the snow one for me. This is gonna. We'll get to it, but there's everything has the touchstone, right? Like the last one was the staircase one, right? Then you had the one with the dogs, and then so absolutely there are those nice hallmarks that we come back to.
yeah, I was a big fan of it. Can't wait to see it again. I've been watching a lot of movies recently in theaters. Like, there's just been a lot of things I'm interested in, and it's funny because it's like Mission Impossible we just talked about. Like, yes, the last 2/3 of that movie, the big set pieces are incredible and like some of the best things I've ever seen. But the first hour lacking so much action. This movie, as I was watching it, I was like, God damn, I wish Mission Impossible kicked ass throughout the entire thing this way.
They need to sit down, McHugh and Tom, and be like, hey guys, remember when y'all used to do this? When you used to do one 30-second exposition scene of setting up what's, and then bam, you're in a fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we need to do.
Yeah, but the action was great in this. And I will say, like the Karate Kid, this, and Final Destination, like all very different movie experiences. This is very, very high up there, but I just want to give the shout out to Final Destination. I saw it
We had
twice.
so much fun.
And I ended up seeing it again with Joey and Gia, and like, God damn, that is a theater movie. Go watch that in theaters.
You gotta go
And
watch
this,
that with a
little
full
double
audience.
feature. You need
Yeah.
the audience, man. What a film. What a time to be alive. But we're about to get into full spoilers for John Wick, from the world of John Wick, the Ballerina, after a quick word from our sponsors. This episode's brought to you by X-Reel. Y'all know that a few months ago, my life changed forever when I brought a pair of X-Reel 1 AR glasses on a long flight to New York. I legit could not believe how easy it is to use and high quality my experience was playing games, watching movies, TV shows on the plane without just too much extra stuff around me, or especially not a giant goofy headset around my head. No joke, this is my favorite new tech product in years, and it has earned a permanent spot in my travel bag. It is only hard to believe that it works as well as I'm saying until you try X-Reel 1 AR glasses for yourself. And then you will see that the future is now. The tech is here. Connect X-Reel 1 glasses to wherever you are playing, whether it's a handheld console, a PC, phone, home console. You just get a massive 150-inch virtual screen anywhere, anytime, for any game. Gaming on the go like a long-haul flight, you need the X-Reel 1. Neck starting to hurt from staring down at your handheld? We've all been there. You need an X-Reel 1. A screen as big as your wall. Instant plug and play with all of your devices via USB-C. Built-in audio with sound by Bose, anchoring your screen anywhere in space. It's awesome. It just works. Zero latency at 1080p full HD. These are what make X-Reel 1 a must-have. And we hear X-Reel 1 Pro is coming soon with an even bigger virtual screen. Hit our link below to get your X-Reel glasses today. There's nothing better than when a sponsor of Kind of Funny is something that we are legitimately obsessed with. And that is exactly the case here with X-Reel. You're going to hear me talking about these forever. Go to xreel.com for more. There's a couple things we need to talk about, spoiler-wise. One is the sheer amount that John Wick is in this movie.
Oh.
I
That's
am
incredibly surprising.
and that's why I say, like, they did this right. I think you have in Keanu someone who understands that this is an incredibly important franchise. I think he loves it as well. And I'm just very, very, very happy. And it was very surprising in the best possible way that he's in like a third of this fucking movie, and not in a, like, Joey and I were talking, like, when you see him on the staircase, you're like, oh, that's all we're going to get of him, right? A quick little cameo. No, dude, it's like, here you go. I'm putting my seal of approval on this as the person that started this franchise. Like, this is a thing. And it does the best possible thing you could possibly do, which it takes the good guy from the series that you love and turns him into the bad guy for a second. When he's walking down, like, toward her, he's terrifying. You're like, that's the Baba Yaga, and you can't beat him, but I'm on your side because this is your story. It's so it's Luke versus Vader, but in Empire, not in Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But you see him with that struggle and stuff like that too, which I think is
Of
the
course.
most compelling part.
I mean, it's awesome. He's in a lot of this, and we get a John Wick action scene.
Yeah.
Which, God bless him. I love you guys. Chad, Len, the boys. Let him rest. You know, like, let his knees and his lower back. He's 60 for Christ's sake.
No, till he's 90, baby.
I love
Man, I almost yelled out in the theater when Anna Dharma said rules. And I almost went, and consequences! Like, it's so cool, man. Like, God damn, I love these movies.
The amount of times we've done an interview and we're just like, oh man, like the original plan for the script was they were going to get this character, or this thing was going to happen, or they were going to whatever. They did that for this
did.
one. Like, I'm so happy that, like, when eventually they made the call, and it's like, are they going to call John Wick? And it's John Wick.
I was like, all the money in
Who's
my
she gonna
pocket.
call?
There's no way he's gonna. And he fucking walks off that train. I was like, this movie just became great.
Oh, I knew it.
It had to be, right?
Yes.
I mean, like, there wasn't a moment, when we think about our love for MCU movies and whenever we got a call and so, and then your nerd brain goes, oh my God. And then it's like always somebody disappointing. You're like, God dang it, dude. Why, why did I get my hopes up? But also, you shouldn't do that because this was a moment of, what if I sent somebody to take her out? It's like, oh shit. She's going to call John Wick.
but this is like a moment like Underoos, right? Where it's like Spider-Man's in this fight. You're like, what?
What?
No,
Yeah.
they didn't get that. There's no way they set that up and it actually worked out well. And then he's just like in the rest of the movie. Like legit in it as a character that is very compelling.
Yeah, and his action scenes are great. Her action scenes are great. Their action scenes together is awesome.
Yeah.
I was talking about this earlier. This movie has a lot of ice, a lot of sliding, a lot of that stuff going on. And I think that they use that to such great effect. But the thing of this movie for me, that when I walked out, I was just like, I can't fucking believe it. They used ice skates as nunchucks and fucked people up. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen, man.
That's the thing. That's your takeaway from this.
Because
to me, the flamethrower
the
sequence.
Oh no, I'm with Andy. It was the sheer amount of grenades.
The grenade scene is
For me, like when we talk about how every John Wick movie has the moment where the creators, it's a rite of passage for the writers and directors to go, what's a new thing we can have fun with? We had the throwing of the knives sequence, and like it's always walking into a room. What the hell am I going to kill this group of mercenaries with? And she sees a box of grenades, and I'm like, are we doing a grenade scene right now? And it ended up being
a tight location too.
It ended up being the most creative, insane, like crowd cheering type shit. I've never seen more people stoked for violence. Like it was, dude. It was fucking fantastic.
And they do such a good job of setting up these moments, right? And again, not to take the video game analog, but it is that moment where you get the grenade in the games. You can start using grenades in games. She looks over, that's all she has, and she just sees a box, like 2 grenades at first, pulls them, and then opens up another box, and there's multiple grenades. You're like, well, this is just going to be grenades for the next 30 minutes, and it is awesome.
Sticking a grenade in a dude's mouth, fucking punching him like John Wick did with the book onto Boban Marjanovic, former San Antonio Spur, and then has the soup, and then like puts the door in front of him and covers it.
Blows up, blowing a hole in the wall for her to then go through.
Level design.
Oh my God.
So there's that, but you guys, and again, it's debatable, but to me, the standout sequence of this is the flamethrower fight. And it's moments like that when those words exit my mouth that I think if someone didn't, like people have not watched this movie, obviously. People watching live have not watched this movie. We could be making all this shit up. You ever thought about that? Yeah. Like they don't know if we're crazy or not. There's a fucking sequence where her and the mini boss shoot flames at each other. And it is, after a while, it's hypnotic. Dude. And it goes on for so long.
And they keep doing the like, let's get more and more creative.
Escalate.
You say mini boss. They give him like a mini boss entrance. Like the camera kind of like just goes on him. It's so stylized. We get the top down like dragon's breath shot like we got in 4 of like the flames. She then gets a fire hose and starts fighting the fire with water as she's getting closer.
They're both screaming at each other. It's crazy.
It is Goku and Vegeta with their Kamehamehas. Like just it's Goku and Cell. Just like dude, it was unbelievable, man. I freaking loved it. Okay, I would have tuned down the fire hose scene. Let's bring it back 10%. A little too long.
No, and I'll tell you why.
Because after a while, it just became like, people were getting hurt by the flames as if it was a force. There's
people are on fire for so much, way too long.
It did. I liked it,
but I loved it.
I'm with you, Andy, in the sense that like it went on just long enough that I started thinking about it too much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, guys, it went on so long that you started thinking about it, so long that you want it to stop, and then it pushes through that, and you go, I could just exist in this world now that's on fire and on water.
The heat.
I heard Nick laugh out loud.
I was just like, this is wild.
Because it's hilarious when they are doing a cover shooter moment, and they're behind 2 cars, and they're just peeking over.
It's wild, man.
It is insane.
Then
This movie kicks ass.
there's also for every craziness there's subtle touches to this too, where when they lit people on fire, they would be like crawling, and then they would just suddenly stop.
Yeah.
because they died.
Yeah.
That shit's wild.
It's freaking
Also, the
wild.
guy, and I don't think it's the same actor, but the dude in this that's the blonde sort of like mini boss that she's fighting with looks a lot like Hair Stamper from The World Is Not Enough, which is a Bond movie. And I got to look that. Maybe Kevin could look that out. Kevin, type in Hair Stamper and then.
That dude's
No, I
jaw
think it's
was
this guy.
touched by the gun.
Okay,
Robert
yeah.
Masser.
Okay, it's a different guy. Yeah, I was going to say, there's no way he's way younger.
This dude's
than
got
I
a
would've been.
chin and a jaw from heaven. It's insane.
Either way, I freaking love this sequence. And I think the grenades, the ice skating stuff, it's all, and you get to those moments too where you're like, oh man, this is some of this stuff's starting to drag on, but the John Wick franchise just goes, no,
then Norman
we're
Reedus
gonna
shows
push
up.
through this. I know.
And you're like, what the fuck? I didn't
Yeah.
know he was in this.
I didn't either.
Are we doing the plot?
Yeah, let's get to the
Okay,
plot.
here's the thing. I don't have a plot song, but let me just throw this out immediately. When this movie kind of sucks at the beginning, like I'm just not digging it, but it is cool seeing this actor doing like John Wick moves, right? Doing all the gun fu and everything. But after these sequences, because first thing I'll throw out there is I have a lot of things I want to throw out there. First thing I'll throw out there. It was like the person who casted the young Ana de Armas was so proud. They just kept on showing off those big hazel eyes, and it's like, all right, we get it.
We get it.
You did a good casting job. She's in this too long. Like
Way too
enough,
long.
enough of the little
That
baby.
was your problem with the casting?
Enough of the baby Ana de Armas. But
she
then,
looked like her.
huh?
I didn't really think she looked like her.
Oh, I was
really?
not.
Oh, I thought she did.
I wasn't confused by that. I was confused where this movie starts, and you're like, is that John Wick? Is this John Wick's kid? And then a guy shows up that's the bad guy that looks exactly like Winston, and you're like, is
That's
this
weird.
Winston? I don't know what's happening. And then Winston shows up, and you're like,
That's
that's
they're
Winston.
different guys.
Why does he look exactly like Gabriel Byrne right now? Why did they cast these exact two people to look exactly the same? And why does her dad kind of look like John Wick? Is there going to be a moment where like she has to kill John Wick, and she's like, you remind me of my papa? No, it was just the casting on this is a little bit weird.
So I don't know. I just felt like they were a little too proud of the casting. Enough of the girl. Like it's too much of the girl. But then, when the movie, actually, you know what? Let's pick up with the plot. Nick. You ready to rock? You're doing great.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ballerina. We know it's Ballerina. Why, Andy? Because we start with a close-up of this little girl and her little ballerina in a bubble. It's got blood all over it, and she's got blood all over her face. You're like, oh shit, some stuff's about to pop off. We cut over to the coast, and it's young John Wick. Not really. It's her papa. It's a guy. It's a dad. And I'll be say this right now, Andy.
Handsome dude.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking
Very
dude.
handsome.
And he's like, I'm sorry that we had to do this. They had to run away. They're from people are hunting them down. The mom's gone. He just wants to keep her safe.
And then she goes, he goes, you look just like your sister. And she's like, I miss her. And it's like, this sucks. I just don't like this.
it's not what we would call super compelling at
Right.
first. And I think to myself, all right, we're going to have a fine time for the next 2 hours hanging out with each other, kind of maybe doing what we did with Karate Kid Legends, where we're sort of goofing around and making fun of this movie. And then the first action sequence starts, and I go, nope, you're watching a John Wick movie, because all of the choreography for this, in my opinion, was
Rules.
fucking awesome.
It rules.
He's great. Everyone's awesome. Of course, he gets overwhelmed, and he gets a gun to his head, and Gabriel Byrne shows up. And I love Gabriel Byrne because of...
I don't know what he's from.
Nobody does. He's been in a bunch of movies that you probably haven't seen except for
He's one of those guys.
He's been in a ton of movies throughout the years.
He's
and
one of those guys
we
that
need to talk about this after.
he's one of those dudes that
Chat, can you guess the movie I'm thinking of for Gabriel Byrne? What is his
mind is your
Hallmark
mind.
movie?
He's one of those dudes similar to like General Tarkin, where you have such a facial structure, you will always be a villain.
Yes.
You will never.
Except he was usually the lead in most movies, and he was usually the good guy.
Oh, really? Because I think that he's.
well, good guy.
I think that he's like he has very striking facial features that will always be put into the character actor type of role. Where like you look like a villain, you look like a bad dude. You have like the sharp kind of facial features. You just look like you'll never be a nice dude because you're kind of evil.
He's traditionally done a lot of movies that are ambiguous. The movies that are popping up in the chat right now, of course, The Usual Suspects is the movie that I'm referring to. Thank you, Abe, from it. He was also in End of Days, which is not great, but Miller's Crossing is another great movie.
Who's he in Hereditary?
Oh, I don't know. He usually picks roles that are not, quintessential good guy, bad guy stuff. But The Usual Suspects is a great film if you've never seen it. Unfortunately, it has Kevin Spacey in it, and it was directed by Bryan Singer. But it's still a really, 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 really good film. If you don't know anything about it, go in completely blind. Don't read anything about it because it's one of those cool sort of thriller, sort of crime movies. Anyway, I digress. He's like, I got an X-Men tattoo on my wrist, and we got to take you back. Where's your daughter? And he's like, if you don't, I'm going to kill you right now. We're going to play Russian roulette. This is a whole fate thing, destiny versus fate thing. So apparently they're part of this cult, and the cult believes in destiny and fate, and shit's going to be what it's going to be, Andy.
I need one or two more mentions of the fate stuff. It wasn't
fleshed out.
It wasn't fleshed out because it was brought up again maybe at the end of the movie. Right. And I needed a bit more of that.
I agree. Because I think that's the one criticism I have of the movie is I kind of like when they get into the minutia of what each tribe
I do too.
is
I love it.
and
They
what
have
they
their
represent.
gimmicks.
There wasn't enough high table stuff.
Yeah, we needed more of like, oh, this is why we're really scared of this.
Yeah.
They're not a tribe, they're a cult. And we got that. But what do they stand for? How do they fit into the world? What's their banner look like? Do they have a cool jacket? What's their merch? What's their swag? All that jazz.
Do they have a cool motto we can get behind?
Yeah, like Sigma Phi.
Do they all use like
Truth or
goddamn
Dare.
bobcats as like their partners or I don't know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
they always have pet
Are they
bobcats.
falconers? Yeah.
What's their merch? Yeah.
He's great. He walks in and he's like, we're going to leave this to fate, gives him the Russian roulette, and before the dad can kill himself, she screams out.
He says you have to either you kill yourself or we kill you and your daughter.
Yeah. And so he, of course, is going to kill himself. She screams out. This
She's
kicks off
hiding
another
behind a
action
little,
sequence.
Library wall.
Little book. Yeah.
He ends up getting free. He puts a little bomb on the gas tank of the house, the gas line of the house, and as they run out, everything explodes. But he has been shot and he dies.
And I hate that. Let me tell you why. Because it is the cheapest way to it really felt like they got to the end of the sequence with the writing and they went, oh shit, he's supposed to die here. Did we film a scene where he gets shot? Oh shit, we didn't film that?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a very anticlimactic shot that takes him out.
And it's a dude walking through a hallway with a flashlight on his pistol. And my first thought, he's secretly walking like behind walls with a flashlight on his pistol. And I go, dude, they're gonna see you with that flashlight.
It's all glass.
rounds
And then sure enough,
glass and
he
plaster,
gets hit.
yeah.
I'm like, you fucking idiot, dude.
Yeah.
Come on, you're not John Wick, dude.
Touching scene, and then of course we cut over to where we started the movie, which is that she's waiting in the police station, and Winston shows up. And you know what, man?
I know, man.
God bless Winston.
God bless him.
God, those teeth are crazy.
I was so happy that we got so many of the ancillary characters because it doesn't feel like a John Wick movie without them.
Yeah, including the Continental. Like
Yes.
it was that nice little shot of it. It's like, thank you for that.
I like Winston with the short hair too. But those teeth are crazy.
Well, he's getting a bit older, and I think he's lost a little bit of weight, and so now I think he's starting to. Damn, he was great looking when he was young.
1977.
That's
Holy
Ian
shit.
McShane.
Handsome.
Yeah, dude.
It's a heartthrob
Yeah.
right there.
Right?
I don't know
So
why
wait-
I never would have thought that he had darker hair.
Andy, can I clarify what you meant about his teeth?
In the, I mean,
A second ago, you said those teeth.
Oh,
Well,
crazy
his-
veneers.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
okay.
got. I don't know if they're veneers or not. I think
Dude, no,
he's-
there's
are
no
they?
way those are real teeth, bro.
Are they veneers? I don't know.
Well, we're gonna get to a wig in a second.
Yeah, don't
ladies and gentlemen.
don't
We're
try
gonna
to
get-
defend big
Did y'all hear
dentistry
that
here.
Ralph Macchio? Definitively not a wig.
No way.
Not a wig. That was his real hair.
It wasn't that it was a wig. His
just
hair
too
was
dark.
dyed.
It's just so
Tim.
dark.
But it
Wasn't a
did
wig.
seem thicker than the other.
It was not enhanced.
They have a
Can-
spray
do
can
men
that
do
you.
hair
It was not
extensions?
enhanced.
Mjolnir
Sure.
98 got them turkey teeth. What is that?
Turkeys where everybody goes for the hair plugs. So I
Oh,
similar
yes,
for-
that makes sense.
That makes a lot
makes
more
of
sense.
So we go over it. He's like, "Look, I'm gonna take you to the place that'll help you, but you're gonna have to make a choice, right?" I forget. This is a heartfelt conversation. You guys can help me fill in the details of this one.
This is where I realized I'm watching a John Wick movie. It's not only because it's Ian McShane. It's not just because he's Winston and he's one of the lead dudes, but he does not speak like a human speaks to a person. To the point where I'm like, is he reading off of something? What's going on here? It just felt really off, this whole sequence.
I can't remember if this is where he gives her the coin or not.
Yes.
But he describes the coin of being like the two sides of the coin and all that stuff. And this is your coin now. And I'm like, damn, this thing's worth like a solid $5,000 because it is just pure gold.
This is also we should mention that this entire time she's carrying around this ballerina doll music box.
Yeah, music box.
Through the entire fight,
It looks
which
like a
is
snow globe.
crazy.
Yeah. That is.
I'm sorry, I walked away for a second. Did you guys talk already about the part where they're in the ballerina place and like they partner up as twos?
Not yet.
Not
Like,
yet.
go through-
Not yet. We're about to get into that right now. She's still young. They bring her, of course, to the Ruska Roma, which is the clan or tribe, I should say, that we've seen prior to this. We walk into the theater, and this is all stuff that I think is super cool. Again, we want to talk about world building. We're going back to this environment that we've seen before. She gets sat in front of the director, who is Angelica Houston, who will always be my Morticia. And she gives her the choice. She's like, you can, I don't really know what the choice was here. If I'm being real, this is a little ambiguous for me, where it's like, you can either live here or not live here. I was like, what's the choice? She's a
She's a
kid.
child.
What is she going to do? She's going to say yes because she's scared to live on the streets. And the other lady that's there that is basically the lead trainer is like, I don't know if we should be doing this, right? But it's like, well, you train assassins, so I don't know if
It's
you're...
essentially the families of her parents fighting over of who gets her.
Oh, that is right. Thank you. I apologize because her dad was Ruska Roma. That makes sense. That's a lot. And of course, the mom's from the cult, and so he's like, I'm going to take you to your dad's clan, and they're going to take care of you, and it's going to be okay. So then we cut to 12 years later, and I was trying to explain the importance of this to Danielle, who couldn't have cared less when she was trying to sleep the other night when I came home. But I was like, we cut and we see Eve, older Eve, current age Eve, and she is on stage and she is
Oh no.
doing
bloody
turns
feet.
with the bloody feet. And she was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, no, you don't understand. We've seen this before. We've seen this scene. And there was a moment, I think it was John Wick, what is it, 1 or 2, when he has to get the ticket punched, and we see that scene as well.
He's watching the back of the theater.
He's watching the back of the theater, and she's screaming again, again, again. Like,
This takes place between 3 and 4. This movie.
that makes sense because I think he needed to.
Does?
That's what the Wikipedia said.
Oh.
Well, we've seen this scene with him roaming around the
Yeah.
theater, right? And it's cool because we've seen this ballerina. It wasn't Anna de Armas at the moment, or a ballerina like this, but it's cool that they went, hey, we've got this thread that we can sort of build off of that we have there, and we know that we can take these side characters and do some stuff. So and they lingered, if memory serves me correctly, on this ballerina for a very long time with a tattoo. So you're like, oh, why are they doing that? And it's like, it's pretty cool. Maybe
Yeah.
they thought ahead. Who
Yeah.
knows? I don't know. Either way, we're in the training room, man, and we see the cool dudes doing sambo in the back, but the ballerinas are all assassins as well, and we get all these cool training sequences where, candidly, she gets her ass handed to her by bigger, stronger dudes until someone goes, hey, you can't fight like them, and this is them telling the audience, we're not trying to make her the next John Wick. We're trying to find a unique and fun and more creative way for her to exist in this universe and be her own unique character, and that way is to kick dudes in the fucking nards really hard.
This is my least favorite part of the whole movie, besides the very, very beginning. I liked the action. I liked how they shot it. I really thought the tag team thing was very cool. But the line of you got to fight like a girl, and then they proceed to just have her fight the exact same way
Just like John
they've
Wick.
been doing, and then kicks the guy in the balls. I was like, I know that it's corny, but they should have had some ballerine stuff going on.
Yeah.
They should have took this further than they did, and I was really kind of disappointed by the setup and lack of follow through with that. But the action was good. It just I don't think it fit the plot of what they were doing.
And it is the fight like a girl thing is so weird because it's put in so randomly and it's part of the credit song and stuff like that. I was like, if that was the through line, I felt very loosey goosey and not at all
Same thing with
strong.
Fate.
My
How
thing
Fate,
is,
is mentioned a couple times.
I will agree with you guys. I don't think it was super set up, and I think they could have kind of hammered that home a little bit. But I just like that there's a distinction between where we find her right now and where we find John Wick in this story. And she is not the Baba Yaga. She is not. I think this is just their way of saying she's gonna get her ass handed to her a lot, which obviously John Wick does as well. But she's not going to be the end all be all yet. She's just starting her journey. She's just learning her powers, basically. And I'm just a fucking sucker for any time anyone has to do the close quarter with the gun thing. It's so cool. And she's got the,
Man, she
and
looks
they have to do
awesome
all the
doing it.
fucking,
Looks so good.
yeah, it's so cool. Of course, after all is said and done, she has her best friend, whose name I don't know, so I'll just call her Timothy. And she's a really good ballerina, but man, she doesn't have what it takes to do this. And then one day she's just gone.
Instinct.
And you're like, oh no, did they kill her? What happens if you can't hack it with the Rusk aroma? Probably they kill her and you're eating her for dinner that night. Because they bring Eve down into the basement, and there's a great scene.
This scene rules.
Where she just has a gun that's disassembled in front of her and one bullet. And then this lady comes in and she starts laughing. She goes, I'm a fucking test. I'm a test. And she goes, you know who I am? She goes, I don't know who you are. I'm you 10 years from now.
God, that was so good.
Fuck, that was good.
Light goes up. They got to
so
do it.
cool.
So cool.
And
That's
here's
her
where
final
I'm
test.
at. In order to balance the movie better, I think this movie should have started off with this scene or the sequence of 2 years later, her with the thing in her shoulder, pulls out that little shard of glass or whatever, turns around, and it's a bunch of dead dudes in the restroom, and she's pulling the knives out for everybody. I think the movie should have started off with either of these two scenes, and it would have been, it's the classic Pixar, hey, we love showing off our main characters doing what they're best at, and then kind of ramping
dialing
it
it
back
back.
down.
Yeah.
I would love...
We'll
I
show you
just-
how they got there.
I think this movie would have been a lot better if it started off with either of those, and then you're immediately in, and then it takes you to her as a child, and then you're kind of like primed for knowing, all right, this movie still kicks ass because we just saw it kick ass a little while ago.
I would agree, but here's the thing. That scene's going to suck no matter where you put it in the movie. Let's just get through it. Just, you know,
Yeah.
like the John Wick movies are not about fucking flashback sequences. We don't give a shit what causes these characters to do what they are. I know Joey was talking.
We do care. Well, I mean, we care deeply in John Wick 1.
But
I
do
think
we?
that
The
storyline-
whole point of John Wick 1 was that someone killed his dog.
Yes,
and he's
but, like,
fucking mad.
it is like a jokey thing, but like I think it's
Well, the dog was tied to the wife, and
yeah.
yes, that's
and
true.
I
It was
think
very
that
hurtful.
is like 10 times stronger than the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, I guess my point is
motivations, I
by
think,
the
are
by the
better.
by the 15 minutes of the flamethrower sequence, I was like, I don't give a fuck what's happening, whose motivations or anything. It's not what the movie's about. But I agree. I skipped a very pertinent scene. Let me go back to it real quick. Before she gets her final test, she's with Angelica, and she's like, I'm ready, right? She looks over. There's a big kerfuffle in the theater, and I'm thinking, here we fucking go. And she looks down, and obscured through the staircase, you see a waifish figure, dark hair.
Music starts.
And his music starts with the beard, and he's being walked in by the guards, and you're like, fucking John Wick.
Fucking
John Wick.
Yaga.
And I'm thinking to myself, that's going to be it. That's all we're going to get. Okay. And of course, later, a couple seconds later, she catches up with them, taps him on the shoulder. He turns around, and it's Keanu. And she goes, hey, how do I get out of here? And he goes, the front door's open.
It's awesome, dude.
And you go, and basically she's saying, no, how do I get out of here and be you? And he's like, you don't want to be me. Like, just walk out the front. Just get out of this life now. And then she goes, well,
still leave.
you can still leave. And she has a great line where, dang, I lost it. I just had it in my brain where she was basically like, how did you get out? And he goes, I'm working on it.
He brings me so much joy.
He brings
I
everyone
love
joy.
him so
just
much.
the way
He's
he says
perfect.
everything. It's just good.
I was trying to explain.
It's so bad it comes back.
Yeah.
around.
I was trying to explain to
It's
Gia
awful.
after we walked out of this. She was like, he's a really bad actor, right? And I was like, yeah. There's good acting, there's bad acting, and then there's Keanu. And collectively, as a world, we've all just decided that Keanu is great.
Some people just got it. You can't.
He's just
You're
compelling
not-
to watch.
You're not born with this. This is just. It's an innate ability that cannot be taught. You either have it or you don't. And when Keanu just looks at the screen and goes, "Yeah,
I'm thinking I'm back.
this rules, dude.
He
You
fucking
rock."
rules. He, by the way, looks great in this. He's very, very skinny in this, but I think it really, really, I don't know if that was by design or if he's just healthy in his life because his knees don't hurt anymore. But Keanu looks freaking fantastic in this, and he looks menacing because he's so like he's like a wraith. He's like this tall, skinny, kind
The
of
Grim
ghost-like
Reaper,
grim.
dude.
Yeah, he looks like the fucking Grim Reaper. That's a perfect way of looking at it. Anyway, I'm thinking to myself, great. We're not going to see John Wick ever for the rest of this movie. I think we get the sequence with him getting his ticket punched, where Angelica's like, "This is it. You're done. You're out of the Rusk Aroma. You were never a part of this clan ever again.
Yeah,
we will
this
not."
is the John
They
Wick
brand
3
him on the
tie-in.
back.
Right. This is when they have to send him off to Europe, I want to say, to go kill the guy. And then I think he meets up with Halle Berry after this, right? And he has to go kill
Yeah.
that guy in the third movie or whatever. Anyway, I
They go to the
digress.
desert. in that sequence. Yeah.
I digress. Anna de Armas is given the final test. She passes the test with flying colors.
And by the way, was that what actress was that? The one who said "You're me in 10 years."
I don't know.
We've definitely seen her before.
Joey will look it up.
For some reason, I think
her character was the lady that got shot in the head. Scroll down.
It's hard to tell. Well, I think this is the girl. She's in the club. I don't know.
Well, what happens here next is that she gets her first mission, and look, I'm a guy that doesn't read the tutorial, Andy. I'm a guy that doesn't sit a lot. I just go straight past all the menu and the exposition in video games.
Not her.
Damn, I don't know.
K-pop.
We'll keep probably. No, I think that might be the lady that she saved. Like
Yeah,
no, that's
that
the
was the
sister.
lady she
Oh,
saved.
you're right.
Yeah.
So of course she gets her first mission, which is it's an escort mission basically, and she's given the name. Is she gonna be the Baba Yaga, Tim?
Nope.
No. She's not gonna be the Baba Yaga. She's gonna be the Kiki Moro. Kiki. And every time she said Kiki, I just thought to myself,
Of
why did I
course you
bring
did.
that into the kind of funny lexicon? I'm getting that term completely wrong, Chad. If you know what the term is, please let me know. I'd like to get it right, but I think it's the Kiki Maru, which is basically like the guardian angel. So she's not
Protector.
the protector. That's what it is. She's not the Baba Yaga. She's not the one you send after the baddest of the bad to kill. She will kill if need be, but I like that the ballerinas, or at least her role in this, is to be a guardian, a protector. You send them with them, they protect someone. If they have to kill to be killed, that's great. She gets her first mission, which is to protect this lady against one man. And man, he shows up immediately. And you're like, oh, okay. And it's an ice mission. And is it foreshadowing for all the other ice we're going to see in this?
It's not just an ice mission.
Oh, it's in the, by the way, they stole this from fucking Batman Forever, where they have to go to the ice lounge. Ice
It's a
to meet
fucking
you.
ice club, because of course it is. It's John
It's
Wick.
so-
This movie starts off with the warning for flashing lights.
Oh, yeah.
And the moment
That's
it
how
did
you know
that,
it's gonna be
I
good.
literally looked at Gene and said, "Fuck yeah."
Fuck yeah. And she walks into this club, and man, Joey, I know you hate Anna de Armas, and it's okay. Well, one day we'll break you of this habit, but what the fur coat they have her in,
Her walking in. She
her
looks
walking
so
in slow
cool.
motion, just this nasty Tyler Bates, like turn up the fucking volume to 11. You're in, man.
She looked like
You're
Elijah
in.
Dushku the whole movie.
And he did.
I leaned over. I was like, "This looks so much like." And then a new hairstyle would pop up. I'm like, "You look even more like her."
This sequence kicks off, and I like it. It's a cool sequence. She's a little rough and tumble in this, though. She kind of gets her ass handed to her, and violently. Like, she gets
Multiple
kicked
times.
across the fucking screen. She's in these high heels. I'm like, poor choice for ice,
She's gotta blend into the club.
But she ends up saving the day and saving the lady, and becomes the Kiki Moro.
Moro.
Rooney
Not
Mara.
to kill the guy.
She does not to kill the guy. And he was like, appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Joey flinched, thinking that like we were about to see that hatchet hit him in
Yeah.
the skull, and she just did the thing where it's like right next to his head, and he just kind of slumps down like, "Oh god damn."
We were at an all-time high of 2 for 2 movies of you think he's gonna get punched in the face, and just right next to his face between this and Karate Kid Legends.
Now you go, okay, that's going to come up later in life, right? Where she's going to spare someone's life. No, she proceeds to kill every single person from here on out. That guy's
God, there's a lot of people for her to kill.
Oh, my
I love that
God.
we essentially end up in Prague, which is just, hey, here's a town of just people to try to kill you.
Yep.
Kill
Well,
them all.
before we get to Prague, we get to another sequence where it cuts to 2 years later, and she's now got the cool slick back hair, and she's digging a piece of metal out of her shoulder. And this scene to me is where the movie really kicks off. The ice sequence was fun. The gun sequence at the beginning with the daughters.
Did we miss the favorite part?
Which
After
part?
she walks out of the club?
No, we're about to talk
Oh,
about that,
okay.
right? She pulls out the metal, she's looking at herself, and the camera starts to dolly back, and we see nothing but dead bodies that she just dropped. We're at the end of a job after 2 years. She's now a badass, and she's walking out.
And this is the moment that I'm like, holy shit, my heart is racing. That scene was awesome. I'm so happy we're in a nice little come down moment. This is where I'm going to go to the bathroom,
Right.
because clearly we're seeing her. This is the dead bodies. The action is over.
She gets in the elevator,
I love that she's taking
Has
knives
to-
out of just all of
taking
these
all
dead
of her knives
bodies.
back and putting them back in her
Good bit,
holster.
really funny comedic bit. Again, I think the movie should have started here to be like, "Oh man, she's awesome in the
Pulls-
future."
Pulls the dude out of the elevator because his foot stuck in it. Gets back in, comes down. There's a line of people waiting to get up to this top. Guy's like, "What happened?" She goes, "Oh, I got stuck in the elevator. I was so scared," and walks out.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a great moment. Did you get stuck in the elevator for an hour?
You go-
And she's like, "Yeah, it was really scary."
It was really scary.
She just keeps walking.
Walks out into the street. gets into her cool Beamer.
Which
And you're
is
like-
pinned up against a wall with a dude hanging
Oh
over
yeah,
the
everyone's
hood.
dead. It's just bodies everywhere. Right? Pulls it out, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, this might be a good time to go pee right now too. Drives down the alley, and the camera dollies back, and you're like, okay, we're done. And as it gets almost out of focus, another car fucking comes out of nowhere, T-bones it, and pushes her back into the scene.
Into the shot.
So hard that the door pops open, and she falls out, and she's holding onto the fucking car as it's pushing her, and she's
With her
skating on
legs.
with her blades. She's skating on the goddamn
So cool.
asphalt until it comes to the fall. And then we get another badass sequence where she has to kill a motherfucker with a hatchet. Just bah, bah, bah in his
After
head.
the movie, you guys were telling me about
It was
this, and
unbelievable.
I could not believe there was more action.
Oh my
Like,
God.
that's crazy.
It was just-
I need to see this again.
Awesome. And of course, this is where she sees the guy's hand. He's got the X, and she walks back into the director.
Which is- I don't think we said, but that's the mark of the people.
That's
that
the
killed
mark
her
of the
dad.
tribe, yes.
It
The
looked
cult.
to Tim as if she was single-handedly stopping the car from going on forever because she was again.
She was
if you're-
Spider-Manning
If this
the-
is the driver's
yeah.
seat, this is the steering wheel, she is faced this
So
way with her
fucking
legs
cool.
out, just like with her feet on the asphalt, like. And, dude, it is the coolest shit ever, man.
It was dope.
Ridiculous.
Of course, she goes back to the theater. We get a great little bit of comedy where two old ladies are sitting outside this ballet theater, which is a legit ballet theater, by the way. They have they do shows and stuff. You guys should check it out.
okay.
And this two old ladies like, "Hey, your bag's leaking." She looks down. She's got this guy's hand in the bag. Throws it on the director's desk and is like, "Who the fuck are these guys?" And the director, is like, "Don't fuck with these guys. They're crazy. This is a cult. They're not a tribe. They're a cult. And we leave them alone. They leave us alone." Right, the Ruska Roma, we're a little scared of these people, as we should, because they're cultists, right? She goes, "Well, I don't appreciate that, so I'm gonna go over to my old friend Winston, and I'm gonna cash my shit in. I've got this coin, and he gave it to me, and I'm gonna give it back to him, and I'm gonna go. I want this, but where's Winston? Of course, Andy. Where does Winston hang out?
The Continental.
Fucking Continental. And who do we get to see one last time?
It's
God
goddamn
damn
right.
it, dude.
What a not
Every
even a
time.
secret delight, just the delight of
Yeah.
the movie.
Every time it just fucking punches me in the soul.
It's really sad.
What a loss.
Yeah, a huge loss, especially not just to the acting world, but to the John Wick world as well. He's a very beloved character and very good to see. Sharon, he goes, "Oh, well, I'll find Winston for you." He's in the back. Winston, of course, says, "Look."
By the
These-
way, I like in my head canon, it must really suck. When you're sitting at home and you maybe get a phone call from Tim and you're like, "Oh shit, like I gotta be prepared for something." If you're Winston and you're getting somebody wants to see you, you're like, "Oh, I hope she doesn't cash in that fucking coin."
Yeah.
like I got shit
Last time
going
this
on.
happened, a lot of shit went
I
down.
got shit going on right now. Like Tim's gonna cash in his
Just rebuilt
coin.
everything.
Tim's gonna cash in his coin and be like, "Greg, you gotta watch Mission Impossible now." Like, bye.
Of course, she goes back there and he explains what's going on, and he's like, "Look, I can point you in the right direction." Calls up his again. I always love it. Calls up the ladies at the operators
Switchboard.
Thank you.
It's great.
And
It looks
so
so
cool.
they're all smoking darts, and they're like, "Hold on, let me check it out." And they figure out that
You
Daniel,
have to smoke to work there.
yeah, of course,
Yeah.
Daniel Pine is in one of their establishments over in Prague, a Continental in Prague, and I love the logo for the Continental, by the way. Which, by the way, hey, look, the whole point of the Continental is that you're not supposed to do any business. It seems pretty shitty that Winston's like, go to that hotel and question this guy, because it's putting her in a very precarious place. Although technically, I guess she didn't break any rules because she didn't kill anyone. But what are the rules of the Continental, Tim? Doing any business inside is prohibited, is it not? I
I
digress.
think it's just killing, right?
It's just killing, right?
Well, I think
I
you're
don't
not
think you
supposed to do
can fight.
anything. I don't think, like, the second she sneaks into a guy's room, I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're breaking the law here.
I mean, it's been a long time since I watched them, and I feel like you guys are even way higher than I am on the John Wick lore stuff. But I was also surprised because I thought it was like you're not supposed to do any job stuff.
No.
But if it's just killing, all right.
Well, either way, she goes to Prague, and the entrance to this hotel is cool. And Prague I will always love because that's where the first sequence was for Mission Impossible 1, which really gave us a lot of delights. Shot in the city, looks great.
Fish tank.
I want to stop for a second and just appreciate that this movie looks great. The budget of the film, where they go and shoot, all of these locations that they did, all the practical stuff they did, you can see it. It doesn't feel like they shortchanged them with budget. It doesn't feel like it's, we're trying to stretch $5 million into a $40 million movie. They really went hard on this.
I also want to stop and appreciate everybody who's subscribing with Twitch Prime right now.
Oh, that's
It's taking a lot of Twitch Primers.
I
It's
appreciate
being
that.
covered right now by
What a
that
day.
hype train stupid notification, but thank you for the Twitch Primes.
Thanks, guys. We're going to go all day and all night. It'll be fun. She walks in and she's like, I need a room, preferably 314 because it's right next door to the other guy's room. And this dude knows what's up. This is the new Sharon. He's like, don't fuck around. You know the rules. She goes up there, and then there's a sniper, right? And we see all of the assassins that are down there. She doesn't clock them, but we see them all down there, including one who looks strangely like her older sister, because spoilers, is her older sister, and she's the one running this thing. The bounty on Daniel Pine is $2 million. She ups it to $5 million as Anna de Armas goes upstairs and starts sneaking over. We see an assassin.
But it's just cool as hell. Like the way they're just like, again, this is a Metal Gear part. Like this really feels like, Foxhound unit or whatever. Just like getting introduced to like all the elements that could come into play that will come into play.
But seeing the printout come out and you're like, oh shit. It's goddamn Norman Reedus.
Walking out of this movie, G and I were laughing because you guys kept saying like, "This is so Metal Gear," and G and I were just looking at each other like, "Eventually, we'll get a Metal Gear movie, and then we'll know what that means."
One day you'll know, Joe.
I love the sniper. Can't see to take the shot. He's like, okay, she's in play, and then of course she gets in, and no one's in there except for a little girl, and then Daniel Pine, played by Norman Reedus, is there as well with his badass shotgun, and he's like,
hold on. Here's what I'll say about Norman Reedus. I didn't watch Walking Dead.
Any of it?
None of it. I know he. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. And I know that's where he's been seen the most, right? And I know
that's what he's known for.
I know he's from that other. What's that one?
Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints. Yeah.
Have you not seen that either?
Never saw it.
You can skip that one.
But like,
It's good.
thank you, Kim. Thank you. But with 80 hours played of Death Stranding, I've never thought he was good. Something about his delivery, I just like. I think you're getting cast because of the way you look. I don't think you're necessarily like a very good actor.
Sounds
This
like my
movie,
Anna de Armas
in his
argument.
this movie in his very limited role, I'm like, damn it, Norman Reedus, you can deliver a line. Shame on me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the video game thing that, maybe you couldn't get past like the whole video game acting thing.
Yeah.
And maybe he's
Delivering Kojima lines.
maybe he's
also a problem.
Yeah, maybe he's better in Walking Dead, so shame on me for not watching that, but also shame on me because I think you delivered some great lines in this.
Here's the thing. He's fucking great in Walking Dead as Daryl Dixon, like as Norman Reedus.
Right.
Like, so I'm saying, I would never say, oh man, what a phenomenal actor, but I think he's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you stack up him versus Andrew Lincoln, you're like, oh, Andrew Lincoln's holding the scene a little bit
more
better.
dynamic.
Yeah, a little bit better range, as
Walking
they
Dead
say.
main character.
But you got to give Norman Reedus.
Carl,
Carl. You have to give Norman Reedus credit
And he's not having any of our shit for this right now.
for keeping that hairdo for the last 30 years. Because at a certain point, I'd be like, it's got to come. I got to get it out of my mouth. It's always just almost going into his mouth, and he just deals with
So
it.
like flat to his head.
It's
Was it way shorter in season 1?
of Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, who could remember?
When he
That
was
was
with his brother?
87 years ago.
I feel like
then
it
it
grew
grew,
over time. Yeah.
I just remember. Thank God for Walking Dead because A, it was great TV, and B, it gave us John Bernthal, and I love John Bernthal, and it had the good grace to give us John Bernthal for only a couple seasons and let him into the wild.
But there was somebody in the YouTube chat asking, is it true that Norman Reedus is barely in this movie? Yeah, he's barely in this movie.
Keanu Reeves is more in this movie than
Way more.
Norman Reedus
Not even
by
close.
a mile, which is crazy. So,
His little tiny hair.
Oh.
Little baby
Looks like
Reedus.
Charlie from Lost.
I'm Norman Reedus. We kick off this scene, of course. The daughter is exact same situation that she was with her dad. He's trying to get her away from this cult. He doesn't want that. She's like, okay, well, I sympathize, but I want to know what's going on with this cult. You have to give me information. I'm not here to kill you. I just need answers. But the two people who come through the door are there to kill him. They are assassins who have now been paid $5 million to kill Daniel Pine because the Starbucks printout came out and they put it on the cup and they're like, get up there and kill him, right?
My favorite thing when he looks at Anna de Armas, he's like, you fucking, you're after the wrong people. And now you just tip them off, and now like you just excited them because they upped the bounty. You're like when it's one of those like you have this all wrong, and I'm like, oh shit, what do we have wrong about this?
What do we have
I'm
wrong?
excited.
And you see it with Anna de
violence.
Armas too, right? Like you see it with her character. That's character growth. She goes, I don't know. She didn't realize she fucked up. She didn't clock the assassins down there. She didn't understand that people were after this guy. She didn't get the politics at play here. She just was sort of like had blinders on with this, and it's good. This kicks off a great action sequence. Where
I will say, hold on, if you up the bounty while people are in the hotel, that should be like that's like insider trading. Like you're you're almost asking for violence to occur. You know what I mean? Like I think this
Well,
is
they are asking for violence to occur.
Yeah, but like,
That's what they want to happen.
but like you are at like. It's almost like whenever like you'll watch like a protest happen and you find out that there's bad actors in the protest that are like,
where does this pile of bricks come from?
yeah, exactly. Oh, there's just a pile.
Wait, sorry, folks. We lost audio. Oh, give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm not getting any levels all of a sudden from you guys. I need to check the power box, the soundboard that's in front of you. Yeah. By your feet. 1 second. And I think we're back. Weird.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Kevin has his headphone.
Oh. Perfect. Okay.
They said we're back.
We're back.
We're back, baby. Yeah.
It's feeling like we're back. I don't have a good. I need one of you.
That's pretty good, though.
I'm thinking
That's pretty
we're
great.
Thank
back.
You have to. And I don't have a good Keanu by any stretch of the imagination.
I think we have good ones. What
Andy,
are
I think your
talking
Keanu
about?
has gotten markedly better. I think it's surpassed my Keanu, which I'm happy to say. Like, I'll take a little credit for it, but not much.
Okay.
But I think, Joey, if you want to start on your Keanu journey,
I don't.
you do. You need to say everything like it's painful,
Oh.
like it's coming
It does
from
have to hurt a
an
little.
impacted colon and has to come out the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking I'm
I need
back.
a gun.
I
Getting a
digress.
little David Hayter, Solid Snake in there.
Yeah.
Gun. Maybe more airy. Yeah, more airy.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for dealing with that audio issue. Sorry for audio listeners, but we are here, and we are kicking off the this cool sequence where they get chased out of the hotel. Anna de Armas gets there, and we see Herr Stamper. We see the mini boss of this, and he shoots Daniel Pine when the train goes by. You're like, oh no, he's dead.
Sick shot. Great
Great
visuals
shot.
here. Them on the other side of the train, like Infinity War, Captain America,
Yeah.
but not as heroic.
So now we are Anna de Armas. The Eve character has a child of her own to protect, and she loses out because immediately gets knocked out by her sister, and goes to the ground. And her sister's like, "Oh, you look kind of familiar, but maybe you're not. Maybe I don't know, whatever." And then she gets brought back. I love this. She gets brought back by hotel security who are now been alerted that there's been business, and they've got all three of the assassins there. Her in the middle, and he's like, "What's going on?" She goes, "Hey, just so you guys know, I didn't kill anyone. I didn't do any of this." And they shoot the two people next.
Well, it starts off with, they started it.
Yeah.
And I'm going, fuck you, bitch. Are you fucking? And she's like, look, I didn't break any rules. I killed nobody. And then
Boom.
firing squad kills everybody else.
So now they're like, "You're done. You can't be at the Continental anymore."
Great
You-
comedic moment of, I think you should check out.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay.
Okay.
I will.
My bad. She leaves, and then she randomly just goes to an arms dealer in Prague who knows everything about this tribe. It's like, why didn't you just go there? That's weird. We wouldn't get the hotel sequence. We wouldn't be able to introduce Daniel Pine. But if every arms dealer knows who these people are, like, you could have probably figured this out.
No,
back
he
in New
didn't
York.
give up the info until she helped defend his shop.
Right, but my point is, she was like, nobody knows who this tribe is. Nobody knows who this cult is, right? And then the first arms dealer she goes to is not even set up. They don't even say, oh, go to this person. He knows all these people. She just walks in and goes, I need a gun and also information on this. The guy's like, whoa, we don't talk about those. I'm like, does everyone know about this? It's like everyone knows the secret. Like they're pulling a prank on you or something like that.
In my processing all of it is like, because they're in closer proximity to it, they have more information, and she just needed to have the connection.
Possible. It makes sense because when you can assume that Daniel Pine escaped with the girl from the village, which is up the street,
Yeah.
right, or in the remote hills, and they just took refuge at the Continental in Prague. That makes sense. Either way,
He was going to keep it all a secret until, door starts getting shot up, and he breaks NDA afterwards because he's like, hey, shout out to you. And she gives him info. He's like, it's not much. Or he gives her info. He's like, it's not much. Sorry. And she goes, it's way more than I had.
She's like, it's also the exact location of where these people are. So thank you for that incredibly pertinent information. But before that happens, of course, we get the scene. We get she's got all these old guns everywhere. They're like old muskets and rifles and hunting shit. And then he goes, and the door opens up and we walk in and you're thinking, yeah, fuck yeah. We're going to get the awesome, iconic, another staple of the franchise, John Wick sequence. No, fuck. Bullets just start raining out.
Such a good call.
What a great call here. I'm like, I didn't need more gun porn. I kind of did. But no, she doesn't have even time to get a gun. She doesn't have time to put bullets in a gun. She runs up the stairs, and what does she find, Tim? The only thing she can get her hands on?
Grenades.
Grenades. And let me tell you, chat, I'm old. I've watched movies on this planet for a very, very long time. It's hard to surprise me with action sequences because I've seen the best, Tim. I've seen every movie out there. If there's a kick being thrown, I'm in the front row for that. Not really. I sit in the middle because my eyes. This fucking sequence rocked. Her killing people and having to strategize about how to like hide from these blasts. So fun, so creative. The last guy she kills where she flips the table over and pulls his tie out while he's got the fucking grenade in his mouth and it just blows up. You just turn your brain off and you just go from this point on in this movie.
It's so fun. You don't even think about the logistics.
You don't think about the logistics.
So good.
Yeah, the moment with the tie, with her unclipping the grenade, and then you go, whoa, what's the plan here? And again, for Chad who can't quite visualize all of this, grabs his tie and like pretty much gets him in a chokehold, right?
Right.
And then she uses the tie to flip the table over so that she puts the table in between her and the dude.
Yeah.
The metal table. And she's sitting over on the other side, holding the tie as he's kind of choking by it. And boom, body just fucking guts, just a gore, just a body exploding. And the crowd just like, woo!
Yeah, man.
The theater popped off.
Honestly, it had the energy of the Dragon's Breath scene from 4, where it's like we've seen an entire movie of violence and action. We're all into it, but there's a transcendent moment in this grenade fight where the entire theater's together. We are one, and we're like, oh, we're seeing something special now.
This kicks ass.
This is next level shit. And of course, Tim, you already clocked it earlier. The scene ends with a guy coming out. She grabs a grenade, throws it, stuffs it into his pocket, closes this massive steel door on him, like kind of, you would hide from someone in the corner of a door. Corners him in the door. He explodes. She opens the door back up. There's a hole in the wall. She steps through, and we're done with the sequence.
Beautiful.
It was perfect.
It's very, very, very cool. And then from here, we head up to the Ice Town, the villa where Gabriel burns.
I have one question.
Sure.
If this mountain cult exists kind of outside, like they don't mess with us, we don't mess with them, how are they able to put contracts on like Daniel Pine?
I think they're still players. I think they're just
not part of the high table.
I think they're just
hierarchy?
ultra violent and nut jobs, and everyone's a little scared of them because they have an entire town they run as a cult from like it's basically like, I get like Scientology vibes from these folks where it's like, we don't really want to mess with Scientology, do we? Like, we don't really want to criticize them too much for fear that we'll incur their wrath.
It was really funny and like, I think a great moment of, world building and kind of setting us up for what to expect is seeing this snowy town and seeing these kids kind of playing outside. I don't know if they're on a seesaw or some shit, or they're just playing a little game. But right next to it is a bunch of targets that have all been shot. Like a target practice, and you're like, oh, everybody here is becoming assassins.
It's funny. I saw that and I was like, that seems out of place. And then you see her walk into the lodge, the bar, basically, and you see the lady that works there, and you're like immediately fearing for them because you're like, oh no, something's gonna pop off here. And you see the mom.
Leaving.
You see the mom and the kid, and the mom and the kid leave. It wasn't until the mom came back with a shotgun that I was like, oh, everyone in this town is a part of this cult. That's terrifying. And there's nothing scarier to me.
Very hot fuzz.
Yeah, very hot fuzz. But like there's like horror movies about like you walk into town, everyone's in it. And you're like, oh shit, I have to get out of this. And such a cool place for her to now exist for the last 30 minutes of this movie.
It was cool too because we just reviewed Last of Us Season 2 and there was a lot of debate over the level of violence and action and if there was enough to compare to the game. Watching this, it really felt like the Ellie from Last of Us 2, her energy through Ana de Armas, but in like the David scene of Last of Us 1, like because of they're in the lodge and all that stuff and her fighting out, it felt like a movie equivalent of directly translating the way we play the game, not
Right.
the way the story plays out of like, okay, she's on whatever. It's like you switch between guns, just fucking killing anything that moves. Like, it was insane, man.
Well, I mean,
we
it's
had
great.
this John Hamm lookalike kind of walking in,
Yeah, the sniper.
and immediately it's like, you're here for wrong. We're both. I know who you. I know what you are.
Yeah.
You don't belong here. And then everybody just started.
Well, at this point too, she's confused because she's walking into this place to find these people, and she sees the ballerina
Oh,
music
right. She
box,
sees the
and
music
she's like,
box.
"Oh my gosh, this is my childhood. This is from my mom. I assume
Yeah.
from my mom."
Where it came from.
And so she's like wrestling with like what all of these pieces mean, and then just gets
And it's
assaulted.
And in my brain, I'm like, there's no way that this movie's going to end in this town. There's no way that they're just going to have her fight through this town. And then I was like, you dumb son of a bitch. You're watching a John Wick movie. She's got to kill everyone. This is the staircase sequence. This is her climb to the Mount Olympus to kill Zeus, right? She has to basically kill her way through this town. The sequence in the lodge, super creative, super fun with knives,
funny,
pots.
creative moment with the woman that is an employee of this, lodge restaurant or whatever, and busts out a knife, and Alan Diamond is like, I don't want to kill you.
Yeah.
But then it's obvious, and then immediately you're like, oh, this lady's an expert with this knife, and she's going at her like in crazy ways or whatever. And then
the waitress calls for help, so you don't think that she is part of
it's
this.
a great way to sort of like, subvert expectations, and then finally traps her like in the freezer or whatever of this restaurant, and then she just lets out a what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it was a great comedic beat from Adam Darvis just being like, what the fuck is this place? Bunch of psychos here.
And I love that, by the way, the next time we see that lady, she comes out and she looks like she's kind of frozen. That was a good little beat. A little bit of levity there. I forgot also, we also have Overwatch. We've got a guy that's got a bunch of cool, like, old school telescopes that's
What a-
looking
oh my
and spotting
God.
everything
The
out.
eye.
The eye. That's
The
so
eye.
sick.
Holy shit. Like, again, Joey, for the upteenth time, it's so Metal Gear.
So fucking
It's
Metal
so
Gear.
fucking Metal
Well,
Gear.
I'm so excited to
Chat.
find out all of these things one day.
Chad, there's a character in this town called the Eye, and he's a dude in a tower with a shit ton of little telescopes all around it, and is just kind of like it is such a video game thing, and I love it. It's like, how did he get this role? How did any of this come to be? But you don't question it because it's John Wick.
And they do such a good job of like, okay, we have this character and we know what we need him to be. What's the coolest way we can do it? And not the most practical. It's like, oh, it could be like you could have one telescope that moves. It's like, no, we
No.
want a fuck ton of
100
them.
of them.
I was trying to clock this actor, what I knew him from. He's been in a bunch of, he was in the Darjeeling Limited and Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Oh.
He's been in a bunch of Wes Anderson's films. I was like, I haven't known this guy. Oh, so I don't think he ended up, did he end up dying? I don't think he ended up dying in this. I think he gets
I
away.
don't think so, yeah.
Either way, she's menacing and she gets away and she's holed up. And then we get the incredible ice sequence that Tim was talking about, or the ice skating sequence where they have to fight in this boat room, and then she just makes nunchucks out of.
I mean, she starts by like punching with the ice skates,
Yeah.
like punching boxing gloves, and then starts whipping them around from the
With the
shoelaces
shoelaces.
like nunchucks. And I think it was Andy earlier was talking about the flamethrowers, where it's like it hit a point where it's like the flames weren't reacting the way they're supposed to, like in a realistic way. It kind of just felt like chip damage happening. It's like, what's going on here? They did the same thing with these fucking blades, like skate blades. They're just doing small cuts on people. It's like, one of those things would have fucking killed
Yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah.
But they're just going, it's awesome.
The movie's just got plenty of moments where a sharp object is thrown and it hits somebody in the head and their legs are taken out from under them. But yeah, I loved there's that, I could just see the shot right now in my head of her hitting the dude on the ground with the skates, and then somebody walks in and she throws the skate at him, and he just like it kicks so much ass.
They do another thing too. I just want to give a shout out to the cinematography in this and the stunt team and just how all of this action is blocked in camera. There's a moment here that it catches you off guard because she's hiding behind the Zamboni or the boat that's overturned. And you don't see the person come through the door. You just see her react to it and start firing, and the camera whips over to them as they're going down. And it's just such a great way to get you back in the action and be like, we know it's coming again. We don't need to lament on this. There's no tension that needs to be built. I think they use those little camera techniques all here, and it keeps everything moving forward so nicely. But look, this is a big problem, dude. Damn, this is a big problem, right? Gabriel Byrne is sitting there burning his britches up in his little roost up there with all of his weird kids and the little cult. And he's like, we got to do something about this. So he calls up the director. He's like, you need to call off your dog. You need to call off the Kikimaro.
Or
she's like,
war.
She goes, I didn't put her there. And he goes, well, you might not have ordered her to come here, but she's your problem. And if this keeps going, we're going to destroy you. And this is what's going to go. She goes, I'll send someone.
Oh, we also skipped the part where she calls Anadarmus.
Oh, right.
And is like, what are you doing? We talked about this.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you And she's like, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to do this.
So now she's on her own. And the chancellor is like, you have to take care of this. And the director's like, don't worry about it. I know just the guy. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't deserve this. We're not, as an audience, as Americans, as moviegoers who shit on theaters all the time, it can't possibly be the person we think is going to happen. Also, I don't even know if the timeline works up. Isn't he somewhere else? Is he in Dubai right now fighting with dogs? I don't care because a train turns up and man, this guy got there fast. Train pops
no
up.
sense of time in this movie.
Bunch of guards outside.
And you just hear like, dong, 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 dong. God, I love the
And
bass.
Keanu Reeves just walks out of the train and you go,
Holy shit.
we're going to get a fight scene between these two.
Mhm.
And it's going to be crazy. And Ana de Armas, of course, is held up in like the cemetery. And she's just trying to figure out what her next move is. And she looks over and just walking. Basically, the alarm goes out with the chances like, don't touch her till midnight. There's someone here that's going to take care of her. And you're
The
like,
stakes are just so good. It's so perfect that they're in this cult town. Everyone's going to go, but don't touch her till midnight.
don't touch her till midnight.
Yeah, and there's that line where he says, let the predator take care of the prey. You know, like you just stand back.
And it's a rare thing to evoke this emotion in me, right? He walks down as he's walking toward her down this like snow-filled path to where she's at. I get really nervous and scared for our main character. Similar to how it literally feels like the scene from Empire Strikes Back where Luke just realizes that like he's being funneled toward Vader and Vader is just playing with him. And it's fucking scary. And I'm scared for her because you're thinking to yourself, everything we've set up with this character so far, she's a good fighter, she's a good shooter, she's a survivor, but she's not John Wick. And they don't even feign a second of her getting the upper hand with him. This is that skill check moment in a video game where it's like, hey, you thought you were almost done with this? There's 40 more hours of this until your character can even come fucking close to taking on John Wick. And he just schools her. And he's like, you got to just stop. Just stop. Gun. Every second, he's like, I can cut your throat. I got a gun. She stops. She goes, I'm not going to stop.
You need to leave.
Yeah, you need to leave. And it's good. And he goes, fine, you know what? I'll give you till midnight, but at midnight, I'm going to kill you. If you don't get this done by midnight, you're dead.
Well, that's all, prefaced with a lot of fighting, a lot of, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and they're both on the ground. And she goes, he killed my father. Mm-hmm. I know. And then that's kind of when he has a change of heart. He's like, you got 29 minutes or 23 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen,
I'm going to kill you.
Rules. And consequences. And I almost yelled out in the fucking theater, man. Like, I love these movies so much. I'm going to get that tattooed on me.
Hell yeah, dude.
I just want to point out that John doesn't go away. He goes up to a little perch with a fully automatic assault rifle with a sniper lens on it, and he just keeps overwatch on her the entire time.
So sick.
So now as she starts finding her way through, of course, she meets up with Hair Stamper himself, the mini boss, the man with the blonde hair who's got a striking jawline, and she gets cornered, and she gets back in the armory, and she's looking around for a weapon, and we just see a case. And you're like, what's in the fucking case? What's in the box? And it opens it up, but of course, the way it's shot behind the case, the lid opens, all we see are her eyes, and she just goes, cool. And I'm like, what is this gonna be? And a bunch of guys start walking down this dark hallway toward her, and you just see a flame pop up, and you're like,
oh man, it's a flamethrower.
It's
honestly
a fucking flamethrower.
The balls that they had for her to, the way they shot it, opening the box and having her say "cool," it's like this
could have been bad.
The coolest fucking thing of all time, and it was.
It was.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is my favorite sequence. Them ducking into cover and firing from cover with a fucking flamethrower at each other, how they have to duck behind shit that's about to melt. The fact that both of them at one point get lit on fire And the stunt people, actually, maybe even the actors are like, fuck it. Like
He's walking around with like his foot
His
on
foot
fire.
on fire.
For
The
so
most
long.
video, the most video game
man.
second phase boss where. Oh, in the second phase, his foot lights on fire, and now that causes
Extra
extra damage.
damage.
Like, it is so fucking hilarious that they use that as a tool for, like, I'm going to be kicking you with my foot that's on fire.
fucking awesome. This sequence, awesome. Of course, it ends with her back on the streets. She's
tank is empty.
got like 5% left. She ices 5 more dudes and then looks over and the mini boss is there and she's out of juice and she's like, fuck. Dives into the thing, right? This guy's flamethrower. What does she see? She looks over. She goes, you know what fights fire? Water. And I'm like, this is not going to be cool. And fuck if I wasn't wrong.
I'm right there with you, man.
Just turning on the water and having it hit like it's Harry Potter and fucking Voldemort at the end of the last movie. And it's going back, and one of them believes more of it, and she starts screaming at him, and he starts
It's
fucking
only
screaming
fun
at her.
because we get the top-down shot.
Yes.
And you can see it better than from either of their
It's
perspectives.
Her
Similar-
walking up closer, and it is clearly blocking and preventing. It's a force field. It's a shield. It is like the coolest shit you've ever seen.
And I think she goes she focuses it more, like punches him, right? And then he goes down.
Oh, the
of course.
pressure like kind of knocks it
Yeah,
down.
kind of knocks him out.
yeah.
And he gets back up, but he's still got juice in his tank. And we're seeing all this, by the way, through the lens of like John Wick, who's over there about to kill her or whatever. And then, of course, she's Ruska Roma. John Wick's got to come through. And he looks down, and at the last minute, as he's about to kill her, he just goes over to the guy's tank and just explodes him.
Fuck yeah, he does.
Because he's fucking
Family,
John Wick.
you know?
Family.
Hell yeah, man.
And it's great. But she still only has 5 minutes. He's still looking at his watch, by the way. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll give her everything she can. Of course, Gabriel at this point, or the Chancellor at this point, is like, shit, grabs the kid, goes over,
Has a whole speech about how they've never abandoned this town and
they never
all
will,
that
and it'll
stuff.
never stop, and no matter what, you could kill me or bah, just fucking shoots him in the head, which is what you always want
Enough
the
of your
character
monologue.
to do.
Yeah, it was
Shut the
good.
fuck up.
Real good.
Shoots him in the head.
We
He
skipped
goes
her
down.
sister dying at some point.
Oh, I
but-
do.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
shit.
sorry.
Oh, the
We skipped
reveal.
that whole thing about her sister realizing that, but the death was kind of lame.
Yeah.
I was
agree.
assuming she'd fight next to her sister the whole time, but,
But
she's
it
like, I missed
was
you.
crazy to hear the grandpa or whatever say that like take them both out because they explode the whole house.
Yeah.
And he was like willing to.
Well, because he knows that at
Yeah.
this point she's like probably going to be on her side, or he can't take that chance.
I mean, it was, just one of those perfect kind of plot armor things where you're like, what if all of y'all just kind of like, peeked around the corner while they were talking and just shot them both. But it's like throw grenades because that'll that's 100% kill. But it's like, well, not really,
Yeah.
Now, well, it's
It's
also
just enough, you
Yeah,
know?
it's just enough. Off we are. We catch up, and we're back at the theater. And she's watching this ballet. She used to be one of those ballerinas, but now she's a badass assassin. And what happens, Tim? Everyone gets a ring on their phone. What's her name? Her name is
Eve.
Eve
Marcus? No,
Marcona.
Marcona. $2 million bounty on her head. And everyone starts looking over her. And just like the end of John Wick, she exits out. And
But she gets to see. We find out her ballerina friend from the beginning not dead.
oh shit! I didn't.
Oh, I
clock
didn't even
that.
catch
I
that.
didn't
Oh
catch that
yeah,
either.
that's who the dancer was. That's she went to go
Oh,
see
yeah.
her.
Oh, she gets to be a ballerina. That's nice. Yeah, and we leave her where we left John Wick, which is that she's got a bounty on her head. At the end of the first one, she's got a bounty on her head, and we're gonna have another movie.
Oh my God! Thank God.
And
I'm
that's
so
Ballerina.
happy. The Ballerina, everybody. Woo! It's time for RaGu BaGu.
Why does it sound different? It's like not loud anymore. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
RaGu.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
BaGu. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Right Guys Talk Bad Guys here for John Wick in review. Tim, what's the list?
At number 1, we have Big Gold Tooth Mini Boss, Donnie Yen, and the Marquis from 4. Number
It's
2,
crazy. As soon as you say big gold tooth, I just like immediately the visual pops up.
number 2, we have Zero and the Adjudicator from 3. 3, we have Santino, Ares, and Common from 2.
Oh my God, Common was in this movie.
Number 4, we have Yosef, Vigo, and Dog Killers all around the world from 1.
These movies rock.
I mean, it's hard to say. I would say he's last.
I think last 2 mainly
Yeah.
because like I feel
Didn't
like
get enough of him.
in 1 like I'll always remember like Alfie Allen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
He was always that character.
Yeah, I
in
would go
that
last
time
as
period.
well.
Yeah.
Who
Same.
what should we put?
The Chancellor and cultists. I think that's what his name was, right? The Chancellor,
Yeah. And the flamethrower guy.
the Chancellor.
Mini boss, flamethrower mini boss.
Oh yeah, I'll put that too.
You have to look up on the wiki how to take him down.
All right, now it's time to rank the movies. Currently, at number 1, we have John Wick 4. At number 2, John Wick 1. 3, John Wick 3. And 4, John Wick 2. Who wants to start?
Such an interesting ranking.
Is it?
For some reason, I thought that that John Wick 3 was at the bottom and I was the only one fighting for it. But happy to see. I was wrong about that.
Where do we want to put the Ballerina?
I would put this at number 5.
I would too.
Which sucks, but it's not an indictment on the movie.
No.
This movie kicks so much ass. It is the 5th best in 5 movies that kick so much ass.
Yeah, I feel like it looks like it's bad at 5, but like the point spread between these movies is not that big. Between 1 and 5, honestly.
I am aligned with y'all. I do think that this is the least good of them. But there's so much going for it. And I think a Ballerina 2 could.
I think
down
it could be
there.
lit.
I don't know that we'll ever beat 4 in my heart. 4 to me,
Right.
every scene in that movie is perfect.
That's it's kind of the gold standard, and I think what I am so stoked about is I wasn't really sure that these movies could be as plug and playable. You know, I know that with the show that was coming out, it's like, can you do that really without Keanu in there? And this movie proved that if you have the right cast and like the same sort of mentality with how to make these movies and the touchstones of a guy named the Eye with a bunch of telescopes and he's a character and you have all these random factions with their cool gimmicks, it's like it can be plug and playable with the right quality. This movie has the right quality. It rules. It kicks ass. See it in theaters.
Yeah, I back all this up. And again, just to back up Joey's point, we're talking like all these movies are like 9 out of 10s. This one might be like an 8.95 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's not that far off of enjoyability from everything else.
It's similar with how I rank them. I try to go about it like with this pseudo mathematic fashion where it's like, you know, I think about my favorite Mission Impossible movies or Fast and Furious movies, and it's like, well, those 2 set pieces were amazing, but this one might be I do think that the grenade sequence in this and a lot of the flamethrower stuff,
You would pull for like an ultimate.
and I would say are better than some of the set pieces from the John Wick movies. Period. Like,
Yeah.
I think that
agreed.
like the John Wick movies are still, you know, maybe they have the best set pieces, but their lesser ones are not as good as the ones in this. You
Yep.
know,
Totally.
movie
There we go.
rocks.
Movie rocks. So this is number 5. Dick, you didn't say. Oh, yeah, you agree.
I would say
Yeah.
number 5. Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
So, number 5, The Ballerina. Like I was saying, next week we are starting Superman in review. Very exciting times. I'll finally, after over 10 years of making content with Nick and Greg, see the origin of Superman.
Superman. Not yet.
Oh.
Well, at some point.
You'll see it in the second one.
Yeah. So we'll see how that happens. But until next time, remember, everybody, we're going to be back live leading into PlayStation State of Play, and then we're going to react to it, and then we're going to break it down in a Gamescast. Then we're going to go offline, but we'll be back later in the night when me and Greg go to the Nintendo store, and then after that, play Switch 2 all night long. Till next time, love you. Goodbye.